Hi everyone, this is Mr Neel Raithatha, also known as the Wax Whisperer. Thank you for joining me in my latest video. I have a compilation video here of a collection of procedures performed using either an ear hook and or Crocodile forceps. Ironically, all these patients attended today and they all attended with really dry earwax or keratin that wasn't really suitable for microsuction, so using a standard Zollner suction probe. When you've got very dry, crusted earwax and dead skin like this, it's very difficult to get a suction grip. And you would need to soften the wax or the keratin using some ceraminotics, so earwax drops, and that will help soften the wax and the keratin to get a suction grip. However, there's no need to use the suction on this occasion because we could just simply remove it using the hook. There was a nice opening at the roof of the ear canal, which I glided the St. Bart's ear hook in horizontally. I then rotated the hook clockwise 90 degrees, which meant the tip of the St. Bart's ear hook got embedded within the core of the keratin and wax plug. So this is the same patient, but this is their right ear. So the previous one, of course, was their left. And here they've got this plug of skin and wax, but it's enveloped and shielded by this thick layer of skin. As you can see, I just had to maneuver that out the way, which then allowed me to insert the hook beyond the skin and wax plug. And similarly to the left ear, I rotated the hook before slowly leveraging out the plug. You do have to be careful when you use a hook because the tip, although it's somewhat blunted and rounded, it can cause severe trauma to the ear canal if you embed the hook too deep or you fail to move it away from the side ear canal walls. You can graze, cut the canal wall, cause bruising, bleeding, and obviously cause severe pain and possibly even leading to infection. So whenever you're using a hook or Jobson horn or forceps or any instrument really, you want to really try and avoid digging into the canal wall and causing trauma. So you can see this piece of skin here. I'm just initially using the hook to position the skin to allow me to use the forceps to get some purchase, get some grip. And I've just attached the forceps either side, the jaws of the skin. There's still a bit left at the base. We're on the bony part of the ear canal. This is a sensitive region, so I'm just slowly gliding that bottom jaw underneath, lifting it up, getting another grip. You can see all that skin. You can see the texture of the skin, the structure of the skin cells. And that came out in a large sheet. There's a bit of skin a bit deeper in the ear. We're going to leave that. I'm not too concerned by that. I didn't want to use any suction because we haven't so far, and that would have just clarinetted, I suspect. Nice healthy eardrum. There's a bit near the entrance that I just used the elbow of the St. Bart's hook to manoeuvre out. So that's a still image of the balls of keratin and dead skin that I peeled away. So this is patient number two. Patient number two, similarly to patient number one, attended with a very dry, firm, embedded and adhered wax keratin plug. Probably about a third or half the way into the canal. I initially introduced the Zollner suction probe, but as you can see, the wax plug is just too dry. I'm not going to get a suction grip here. So either you put drops in and let it soak for a few minutes, which is not necessary because we can quite easily use the hook. I'm going to glide it posteriorly, just maneuver the wax plug forwards a bit so I can get the hook in further. And then you can see how I've glided it in and behind, and slowly but surely I'm going to come away. If I came away too quick with the hook, I think the hook would have just dissected this plug. It would have just cut through it. So I'm just using a measured approach, just being patient, slowly bringing this forwards and out of the ear. And just near the entrance, you can see it's enveloped by a fresh layer of dead skin. The core is it's been oxidized, it's darker, so it's quite a substantial piece. You'll see some good still images if you continue to watch. Again, the eardrum's intact. There's a light reflex missing, so typically if you've got a healthy eardrum, when you examine the ear, the light source reflects off the eardrum, typically anteriorly and inferiorly. So in case of the right ear, in the southeast region, you get a reflection back. We call that the light reflex, and it normally suggests a healthy eardrum, not always. And the absence of a light reflex doesn't always mean that you've got an unhealthy eardrum, but it's just one of those landmarks that we quite often look for, a light reflex. And more often than not, if there is present, then it means you've got a very healthy eardrum. Again, it's just some dead skin on the side. I just removed that using the elbow of the St. Bart's hook, and you can see a nice still image. You can see all the dead keratin and the core, the structure, and it's enveloped by a fresh layer of skin and some lipids, so some saturated lipids there that are secreted by the glands within the ear. And again, you've just got another image there, a bit more of a close-up image. And we're going to proceed to patient 3 now. So patient 3 has a very narrow ear canal. You can see how narrow it is, and this wax plug is embedded quite deep. You would say it's like 2/3 into the ear canal, so we're well into the bony part of the ear. I'm just using the endoscope to stretch the ear canal open. Again, I initially went in with the suction probe. It's just too dry. I'm not going to get a grip here. I'll be there for a while trying to remove that, possibly unsuccessfully as well. Fortunately, there's an opening at the roof. I'm just going to get the hook behind. I'm going to leverage this slowly forwards. But it was quite dry and almost stone-like, and you'll see I can't embed the hook anymore. And as I was attempting to, the hook just moved away towards me. So you've got to be careful. We don't want that hook. You want to be losing control of that hook where it's flying away into the ear, to the side parts of the ear canal. Now I'm going to just use the forceps, I think, because there's something there for me to grab hold to at the top. It's protruding outwards. I'm going to just get a good grip, and now I'm just wriggling it. I just want to detach this from the canal wall. Again, bring it out slowly, and there we are. So it's quite a substantial plug of really dark oxidized skin and keratin. That's the patient's eardrums. There's some dead skin at the entrance. I'm going to just use the hook to leverage out, and a bit of microsuction as well. It's one of the cartilaginous portion now, the outer third. You can see all the cilia there, which are exclusively found on the cartilage portion of the ear. You can see you've got some good dry skin. It's quite an elderly patient, so as we get older, it's just a natural phenomenon. Our skin cells and other cells are unable to retain moisture fluid as well, so skin does dry up. Again, I'm just going to just at the valley of the entrance there, and it's quite a steep valley there because of how narrow the patient's ear canal was. It's going to stretch the ear open. So you can see a bit of a keratin at the time. We're going to leave that. It's not going to cause the patient any problems whatsoever. And if I attempted to remove that, it may just cause trauma. I would have to use some olive oil if I was going to remove that and then suction it. And I just don't want to use any oil, don't use any suction, don't need to. Again, the close-up, you had the forceps besides the wax plug. You would have seen the jaws on the forceps as well. They're 5mm standard size jaw crocodile forceps. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video, guys. Take care, keep well, and speak soon. Bye.